Hey guys, Oh, that was loud. Welcome back to the Build Show. How's it going, everybody? How's everybody's weekend? Are you guys ready to go back to work? I'm not. Let's see here. Welcome back to the Build Show. Tech Works. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Seen you joined our Discord. Gonna give you key to my office there. Okay. I haven't checked it out yet. If you did accept the invite. Psycho Suit, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show. Venomous Toad, welcome back. I went ahead and got my wife 64 gigs of RAM for her art animations today, so we'll see if that works. That should definitely help her out. I think, if I remember correctly, she was running on 16 gigabytes, if I remember our past conversation. Psycho Suit, Leon Lee case, right? This is actually not a Leon Lee case. It is a off-brand dual chamber case, but it is going to be white. Might have to adjust this camera. Where'd I leave it? There. Look out, where'd it go? Hold on. I've pushed too many buttons on the controller and now it's freaking out. There we go. A little better. Can we just stay zoomed in? These camera guys, they don't know what they're doing tonight, guys. Sorry. No, just hold it right there. It'll work. It's where we always put it. Anyway, it is not a Leon Lee case. It is a off-brand dual chamber micro ATX case. But it's not Leon Lee. So that's cool. Saying, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show. How have you been? I haven't heard that one before. Anyway, I've been pretty good. We went and I was actually over at a disc golf tournament this weekend. We placed third. There was only 3 teams in our division, so but I think we only lost by 1 stroke, which was kind of the saddest part. So would have been up there. Would have been nice. So I mean, we were only behind 1 stroke from second place, and second place was a couple behind first, so it was within reach. And we missed quite a few very key putts that we should have made. So it was a 4-man scramble. That's why I keep saying we. It was a 4-man team. I thought you did this for work, LOL. Yes, I do it for work, but it is not full-time. So this is mostly full-time. It should be full-time. There's just not enough builds to make it full-time. HDZ77, hey. Venomous Toad. Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, 16 gigabytes would be rough. That case on your intro is Leon Lee? I don't remember which one I used. I'd have to go look. Hold on. There's a couple of different photos on that intro. So there's the actual image for the video with all the info on it, and then my face kind of going, you know, something weird. And then there's also the actual loading screen for the intro. That is a Leon Lee case, yes. And I actually custom painted and we etched the glass on that particular one, if that's one you're talking about. Looking like a nice 1080p build. 16 gig 5060 Ti can handle 1440p for sure. Congrats on your new PC. So cool to see my name up there. Yes, it's finally there. We're finally here building it. Finally. Had some interesting trouble getting the RAM and the SSD here. That was on me. So they just never showed up. So I'd actually go get these from the center of Micro. because it's listed in the list of things that should have been in the box, but it's not in the box, so nice. That's what happens sometimes. So yes, congratulations, Maria. This is going to be your build that we're going to be doing tonight. So starting off, we have the Ryzen 5 9600, 6-core, 12-thread processor on the AM5 platform. It's an excellent processor to start out with, especially getting you on the AM5 platform, which is going to secure PC upgrades for the next at least few years. The socket should stay relevant for a long time. Next is we have the Thermalright contact frame. This is a AM5 contact frame we use pretty much on every AM5 CPU that we build with today. The MSI Pro B650A Wi-Fi. I know on the listing it might have listed a different motherboard, but really there's a few motherboards in that pool that will pull from pending inventory. So, dude. Sorry, my Max behind me, our dog, is running around in circles, chasing his tail, basically. And he's making a ton of racket. So yeah, we have a few motherboards in a pool that have pretty much all the same features. I think originally the Asus Prime B650M was is on the website, but this is one of those boards that we'll pull from. And it really comes down to inventory. For some reason, that Asus board is just constantly out of inventory, so we'll probably end up updating that on the website, but it is the same board with pretty much with the same features. It's just by MSI, not Asus. So with that being said, we have 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, which is the Flare X5. So it's a wonderful 6000 megahertz CL36 kit, very stable kit that runs well with this board and the CPU combination. The storage that we're going to be running is the Samsung 990 EVO Plus. Typically this would have been a Team Group MP44, but at the time of ordering all these parts again, the SSDs were out of stock, so we had some weird issues with inventories. And I have a few of these 990 EVOs here, so I ended up using that one. It was the RAM that I had to run over to Micro Center and get. I just remembered what it was. Next up is the graphics card. We have the RTX 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte model by Zotac Gaming. This is the AMP edition. Great card overall. So I did try to look for a white one, and white 5060 Ti's at 16 gigabyte are apparently very rare. So we weren't able to get a white card, which is what I would have preferred to put in this build because of the white theme build out, but nonetheless it is a 5060 Ti and it is 16 gigabytes and it will perform the same. We're going to be cooling the CPU with a Frozen Infinity 240mm white AIO. So, and to match that throughout the rest of the case, we have the matching fans that we'll put in the case. We have a total of 4 reversed blades, 2 for the side, 2 for the bottom, and then a regular for the rear for exhaust. So the CPU cooler or radiator will be mounted on the top, acting as exhaust, and then we have reverse blades acting as intake on the side and the bottom, and the rear is going to be exhaust. Powering the system is a Segitech GN650W, which is a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply over here in the corner hiding behind my head. And then we also have some sleeved cables, or cable extensions rather, for white cables that we're going to add for the build because I could not get a white card and I wanted to try to get something a little extra white in there, because with the white graphics card and the white motherboard and the black graphics card and the black motherboard and the black RAM needed a little more white into the build. So that's what we went with, is the sleeved cables to help inject a little bit more white into the white build. Yeah. All right, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this build. Welcome back to the Build Show Orcheslore over there on Twitch. I know this is a late night, so I apologize. Typically, over the past week or so, I've been kind of forced to stream later in the evening, and it's primarily because of my work schedule has kind of adjusted. So I am it's probably going to be like this for a little while. So I'm gonna try to start. I'm gonna try to still do them earlier. I can do them earlier. It is a possibility. It's just been very difficult to make that happen. So that is why we are starting later than normal, which is usually about a 2-hour difference. It's like only 8 for me, lol. Well, over here in Eastern time, it is 10:15 p.m. So I know I have a ton of local followers here in Michigan who do follow me. So I apologize for shooting off a notification that I went live at 10:15. Typically I don't like doing that, but we got to do this build, and this is the only time to do it for me to get it done so I can get it out the door early this week, so Maria can have it hopefully by the end of the week. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, the girls are going to bed, so I was saying goodnight. Okay, yes, getting everything white can be difficult, totally fine. Yeah, I mean, I still give it the old college try. Give it a try. Try to do it. Alright, so we're going to start off with our Ryzen 5 9600 going in 9600X. And once we have the pins secured here, we'll drop the contact frame over the top. And now that that's installed, we can go ahead and move on to our RAM and our SSD. Which is going to be the G.Skill Flare X5 DDR5, 32 gigs, 6000 CL36, going in the slots A2 and B2. And then last but not least, we have a 2TB M.2 NVMe SSD, which is going to be the Samsung 990 EVO Plus. Super fast SSD. Plenty of storage. Good evening, Mike. Dear D, welcome back to the Build Show. Good evening. This is going to go into the top slot right here. You do have an additional slot down here, or you can add one more SSD if you need it later. Alright, I actually can't remember. I'm pretty sure this does have its own mounting brackets on this cooler, I just can't remember. Even though we just did one last week. That's a good looking motherboard. Yeah, it's the B650M Pro Series by MSI. The B650M-A Wi-Fi. Hey, what's up, Pooter? That's what you got? Nice. Don't think we need that. And there are mounting brackets. I knew that. We'll take the stock brackets off on the board. Put these brackets on. Take my driver. All right, and now I think we're gonna get the case out and gently drop the board in. Weenie, Xbox, record that. Nice. I don't have an Xbox. Actually, I lied. I have an Xbox One. What flavor do I have? Of my Xbox? An Xbox One. Or are you talking about my vape? My vape is a watermelon mint. Pretty sure this panel slides off if I take these out. That's interesting. How do I come off? What does come out are these two fans. Yes, they're basically or practically the same exact fans that we're putting in, but they're not. They're a different brand. We are gonna pull these fans out and replace them with the Thermalbright fans that we do have. We're gonna spend a minute before we put the motherboard in there and take care of that real quick. Very nice of them to already have all of these daisy chains and everything ready to go. You like that case? It's a decent case for the price. And it's kind of like a Lian Li knockoff, but a heck of a lot cheaper. And, I mean, the case. What I do like about these is the very nice channels for the cable management, and then also the fact that you could fit 2 fans on the side, 2 fans in the bottom, a fan in the rear, and still manage to fit a 240mm AIO. While it's in a micro ATX case, that's a lot of fans. Okay, so now that that is done, we'll go ahead and place the motherboard in here. I will call out on this particular board or case with this board a couple of things I want to point out. One, the board does, if you have a micro ATX motherboard, it does hang off the side here. So if you are going to put fans in here, which I'm going to do before I put the motherboard in, you're going to want to put the fans in first, or you need to be able to remove this glass. And I think there's 2 more screws on the backside which would have allowed me to remove this. I just looked at it and said, nah, it's a bigger pain in the butt than really was worth my time. The other thing with this particular case is the option down here at the bottom to put cables in through this hole is so shallow. And if I move the board up, you'll see that it's much larger, but once you put the board in, it is super small. So you can't really fit much through there. So it's a good idea to try to cable manage as much as you can through that bottom port before you put the motherboard in. So what I'm going to do, and I learned this on the last one I did last week, because I forgot about it, because it's been a while since I did a Quantum Prime, and this is the updated model to the Quantum Prime. What I'm going to do is put the fans in first. So the 2 on the bottom, 2 on the side, they're going to go in first. And I feel like there was something else that I wanted to do beforehand, but can't remember what it is, because, you know, that's just me. Time for instructions, Ben. What do you mean? I like that case. That case is so beautiful. Yeah, it's a bot. I could try to get rid of it. No, I don't want a pen. Bye-bye. Front glass removal. Nah, it's not worth my time. I'm just gonna leave it as is. It's rare that anybody's gonna ever need to take that glass panel off. This would have been a nice to have while building in it. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I don't need to necessarily take it off. And honestly don't want to deal with it. So I'm just gonna leave it. There's our 2 Thermalright fans. That we'll be installing on the bottom. Indeed. Tony, hey, got a 2.8-inch LCD that attached to the front of your pre-existing water pump. I'll get it tomorrow and see how it goes. Nice. Which water pump are you talking about? Are you talking about the block on top of your CPU with the AIO? I've seen those before. Somebody here has one. Roy has one. Intel for the win, dude. Floating around here somewhere, he's got one. Now he played around with it for a little bit. I think he said it was a pretty decent price on Amazon too. It was like $30 or something like that. Whatever. Yeah, it was like $40. Thought I'd give it a try. If I remember correctly, he said it was decent for $40, but software needed work or something like that. Meaning, probably not easy to navigate and figure out the software right away. It takes a little bit of finagling to get it to work the way you want it, or to customize it. I'm assuming that's what he meant by it. Okay, we got the two bottom fans in. Put the side fans in. USB 3. Oops. Cool. That's interesting. It's because there's a space actually between the two fans, and then you can't do this. It would have been nicer from the case manufacturer to put fan slots here, rather than just drilling out some holes for this scenario. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, but would have been nice. Alright, front panel connectors here. USB 3, gonna go there. Oops. Audio down. And our PWM. And ARGB are going to route back that way. These guys. Ow. What's a good micro ATX motherboard? DDR5. This is a decent one. If you're looking for a decent, not insanely expensive, but I do also like the Gigabyte boards a lot, like the Gigabyte Gaming X series. Those are typically good boards. The Asus Prime lineup, and then the Asus Tough series is also a very good series to choose from. Use. It depends on, you're looking for budget friendly or most possible features in a micro ATX board, or what are you looking for? Actually gonna have to run my long driver here. Oh, sorry, I didn't see we're having a full-on conversation here. But nothing much. You're taking it off. You're not taking it off. But never mind. Okay. Hey, I got a... Yeah, we talked about that. If anyone wants to join the Discord channel, do so here. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that, too. It hooks up directly to my motherboard, so I'm hoping my software will pick it up. What software are you running? Because I think it has its own unique software that you'll have to run. It's just hard for me to pick. Okay. I mean, they're all pretty equal when it comes to the micro ATX department. But a B650, if you're going AIM, I guess that's another good question is, did you say AIM-5? For DDR5. Okay, so first question. Are you going with Intel or AMD? Because that's going to determine if you're going to get a B650M or a B760M or if you're going with the Ultra series, it's all going to be dependent on what CPU you're looking at. Thanks, can't wait to try it out. My old PC was dying for a while, but I unfortunately was in denial about it until I finally got into the BIOS for BF6 Battlefield 6. That's what did it in. Yeah, it was not available, the option, I'm assuming. Yes, AMD. Then definitely either a B650M or a B850M would be ideal. The MSI Pro Series is a nice, more, I'd say budget friendly, but not, the cheapest board out there. It's a nice middle of the road board that's going to have solid features and give you everything you're going to need in a gaming PC, basically, without spending an insane amount of money. The other one I'd recommend, like I said before, is the Gigabyte Gaming X series. Those have always been pretty good by Gigabyte, and then also the Asus TUF and Asus Prime boards. Those are also good boards to take a look at. But the B650M or the B860 or B850 and the B650M boards are the boards that you want to take a look at for AMD. Thoughts on someone running a GT 610 and 7th Gen i5 in 2025? Roast my cousin. I don't do a lot of roasting, so everybody else in the chat can do that. That's not a me thing. Tat Daddy Roy Ben is the case for micro motherboard. Yes, this is a micro ATX case. It does support the micro ATX case or micro ATX motherboard, although we do hang off here. That is by design. I was actually able to play for a game or two, turn it off for the night, and never woke up again. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna look at some of those for sure. Yeah, join the Discord channel. Feel free to drop questions in there if you'd like when you are shopping around for your parts, and if you're worried about compatibility, you're welcome to ask a question there in the Discord channel. And if you'd like to join the Discord, it's !Discord in the chat, and it'll spit out, thank you, some giant idiot. It'll spit out the Discord channel for you. HDZ77, I like the ASRock B850 live mixer. Riptide, Steel Legend, and Pro RS. Yes, but a lot of AMD boards on the, or a lot of ASRock AMD boards have just getting a lot of hate. I don't build with them. I personally run an ASRock in my personal rig right now, and I've had nothing but issues with it. To be completely honest, I've had issues with it. So if I'm going to build a PC for a customer, I do try a lot of components before I say this is what I recommend, and I'll try it thoroughly. So like I'd say lower tier brands, and I consider ASRock unfortunately a lower tier brand because they're not super crazy like Asus or MSI. They're not really competing at that same level. They're trying, but their BIOS isn't there, their software isn't there, their website isn't there. Just simple stuff like that. But on top of that, one of the biggest things that I have or problems that I've had with an ASRock board, even though this is a 550 chipset, a B550, and it was a Steel Legend, so it should be kind of like mid-tier, from their lineup. The Steel Legend is like a mid-tier lineup. The audio will just randomly bug out, and it is for no reason at all. And I've tried sending the board back, getting a replacement, putting a new board in, same results. Tried reloading window. I've tried everything you could possibly think of, and it is definitely something related to the ASRock motherboard. And I don't know what to do about it. So I've kind of given up on ASRock as a brand for my builds that I build for customers. I just don't want the issues. I need something reliable that is not going to do stuff like that. And no, that is not the only board that I've tried with ASRock. I've been running ASRock boards on my personal rigs for a long time. And I've always had some weird issue with them. There's always just something weird. And this time it's the audio. So I hear so much back and forth on ASRock. Yeah, it's just, I'm just sharing you my personal experience with them. They don't have a bad RMA process. Their support is good. Their BIOS is meh. It's not very user-friendly when it comes to, say, a newer, you know, somebody new walking into the, walking in and learning for the first time. Their BIOS isn't the easiest to just navigate. Took them forever to put something in their memory list to tell you how, like, tell you, hey, here's your XMP, enable it. And that was something I was been asking for forever, but they never really added it until like DDR5 came out. And that's been something everybody else is doing. They have just a little drop down menu right on the front page. Simple stuff like that is what I'm talking about. It's just not as easy. Army Vet. Oh my, how I missed the streams. Yeah, the UP lose internet or something? I never owned an ASRock, but I like how they offer a lot of bang for your buck. That's why I keep trying to like them. I keep going back to them, I keep trying. But man, the last like 3 boards I've had some weird issues with them. So when I run into those issues, I'm not going to put them in customers' PCs. I can't recommend them. I have a B660M Pro RS. It's trash. Yeah, that's, well, the Pro series by ASRock, that is one of their lower tier lineups, so that's like their cheapest board they make, so it's going to be pretty stripped down, basically. It's going to be missing a lot of features that like more premium boards have. I hear so much, yeah, and my PSU and GPU making a buzzing sound. So the GPU might be making a buzzing sound. That's called coil whine. Most GPUs do have coil whine, so that's not something you can fix or change. You could try a different power supply or a more premium power supply and see if that helps, but I doubt it's really going to change the coil whine in the graphics card once you have it. The power supply whining, that's actually a concern. So if your power supply is whining, that could be either a fan making that whining noise, like a bearing in the fan. Hopefully that's all it is, because if it is, it's not that big of a deal, other than if the fan isn't spinning to its optimal speed, then you could be toasting your power supply slowly, cooking it, and then eventually your power supply is just going to give out. And sometimes when power supplies go, they take other components with them, so I hope that doesn't happen. But a whiny power supply could be a problem, so just be careful with that. Keep an eye on it. You know, I always tell people, and it's weird, but I always tell people, hey, if you have a whiny power supply, get on your hands and knees and give your power supply a sniff, the back of it. And why I ask people to do that is because if you smell like burning electronics, it's probably a sign that something's cooking in there. And immediately shut off your PC and replace that power supply. So every once in a while, when you hear a whiny power supply, get on your hands and knees and give it a good old sniff. So hopefully it doesn't explode, and you know, my advice puts your face in harm's way. They gotten louder, but yeah, I'm gonna buy a new PSU and hope the sound leaves. Yeah, it might help with the coil whine, but the coil whine of the card is gonna be pretty much, that's there, and that's not going away. Put headphones on and crank the volume up. I don't know. Kind of the old, turn the music up in the car and you don't hear the problem anymore. Okay, so got the board installed, at least. It's wonderful because now that we have all of our cables down here, our fans in, it's going to make it more difficult to get everything plugged in. With the fanfare. Love it. I have to do some acrobatic things with my knuckles here to get these in. But again, if I didn't do this, we would be on the struggle bus getting some of these cables down there in. Wow. This one's going to be a pain in the arse. Note to self, buy extensions for this stupid crap. Worth every penny. And there we have it. The connections and cables down there that you can't even see. But they're done. So, there's that. Alright, so next, I'm probably going to want to put this rear fan in and also get our EPS cables in before we start putting the AIO in, because it's just going to be a pain in the butt once we get this AIO in here. The rear fan's going to go in first, and then we'll get our EPS cables ran, which are thankfully sleeved. DAC. Why does my screen flash in beam driving? I don't know. I've not heard any. I mean, my first assumption is you might have VSync enabled, and maybe it's a VSync issue with your monitor. Maybe try turning VSync off if that's on. We do love to sniff power supplies. Yeah, we do. I got a desk today, real wood, missing the drawer in front, but it's very good quality. Everything looks great on the desk. Plus, I cleaned it up really good. I game like a pro now. Nice, Steve. That's a good win. Like when I move the mouse or join a game, I can hear it. Are you hearing it like through your headset? Some GPUs do have quieter fans. Sometimes the GPU makes difference, like Power Color Red Devil. They are quiet. Yeah, I think he's talking about his coil whine on his graphics card, and his power supply also has a whine to it. I told him to maybe be careful with that power supply whine. PSUs are important, very important. The most future-proof component you can buy. That is correct. That's why I always buy the best. Mine is the Seasonic Prime TX 1000 watt 80 plus titanium. Had it since my first build in 2022. Nice. Yeah, that was a good move because you've got the power you need for pretty much any upgrade. Maria, chill. But I'll see them. Appreciate it. You're welcome. VSync is off, Dax says. Any other ideas as to why the screen would flicker while running Beam Drive? Beam NG Drive? Wow, that much load on a power supply, that's not good. What do you mean that's not good? A whining power supply is not good. It's usually not a good sign. I have FPS locked to 120. Does it actually run at 120 FPS or no? I don't know why it would flicker. I would check your drivers. Maybe uninstall your video card drivers and reinstall them if you haven't tried that. Kind of weird. Does it happen in any other games? Yes, as in yes, you've already tried that, or yes, as in yes, it happens to other games? Dang it. That's also another good call. Some Gen Idiot, try a different DP cable. But he says it just happens in that one title, so I have a feeling it's got something to do with drivers or some sort of setting, or it's the game itself. Try reinstalling the game if he hasn't already tried that. But I'd try reinstalling drivers, reinstall the game, see if that makes any changes. If that doesn't make any changes, then start taking a look at your hardware. That's the only game it does it in, though. Kind of points to more of a game problem than anything else. Tony! Got too much stuff plugged in the wall. Got a pretty big mini fridge. Whenever it kicks on in the middle and one of my two screens shuts off for a second. Oh man. Yeah, that initial power draw gonna kill it. Actually, I didn't pick up on the fact that this thing has an additional thingamabopper here, so cool. We're gonna have to sneak a black cable in here somehow. I don't have another white APS cable here. I have a white and black one. Starting to come together. I'm gonna slap the power supply in here because there is an EPS cable that I'm concerned about. This kit only had one EPS cable because I honestly thought the motherboard only had one. I'm gonna try to sneak one of the EPS connectors in there if I can. I installed the latest NVIDIA the day they came out, drivers. You are running the latest. Maybe can you verify the files for the game? Those white cables are looking fantastic. Oh, thank you. They are very white. Ben, there's a setting in the BIOS called ERP, right? Deals with power supply? I think so. I don't know enough about what it does to advise about it. I think go on YouTube and maybe look it up for you before you tinker with it. I'm not familiar with it. No. And I don't want to give somebody bad advice. I bet those single cable extensions from Asia Horse would work great in small case. Yes. They probably would. They probably would. Okay. When that's dealt with, we can move on to our AIO. Hmm. So what games does everyone play? Mostly Resident Evil games? Nice. Those are fun. Been wanting to try some of the newer Resident Evil games. Yeah, those do sound good. Recently finished Mafia Old Country. Another one that I wanted to try. I just don't get a whole lot of time to game anymore. Hmm. little better. Alright, so now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll install the graphics card and its cable. I'm in the middle of somewhere of RoboCop. It's a pretty cool game. I actually didn't know RoboCop had a game. That is pretty cool. Something I would definitely try. And we're going with the Zotac Gaming Amp RTX 5060 Ti NVIDIA GeForce card. This is the 16 gigabyte version. 16 gigabytes of VRAM. I believe this only requires one PCIe 8-pin connector. Trying to get these peels peeled. I think that's all of them. I always forget how MSI boards like to ride their PCIe slots so low. This is gonna be fine because we got the fans right underneath it and there's enough clearance there. But man, is it low. It likes to ride low. I mean, talk about direct intake airflow on the card. Ah. Okay. Looking pretty good. Oh, Tony. Sorry. I don't know why I didn't get the hey notification. But thank you for the 5 gifts gifted, Tony Munkets. Much appreciated. When you have over 3K of them and only play like 4, then it's it's an issue. Yeah, that's kind of like what my library looks like. I have a crazy ton of games and I only play a couple when I get to play them. Hey, chat nerds, welcome back to the Build Show. And yeah, Dak says, or Dak, it's 32. I don't know what that was from. What kind of games do you play? I also have a 5060 Ti computer, Steven Anderson says. I enjoyed this and the chat. Thank you. Well, thank you, Tony. Tone, hey! I think that's what you're intending. My Steam account goes back to 2004. Oh, man. Yeah, you got pretty much everything in there, then. My last count, I think 303. Yeah. I probably got, you know, a good couple hundred in there for sure. Being realistic. Hey, what's up, Chef? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. What's up, all? Eddie, WZ, appreciate you, brother. PC has been running phenomenal. Awesome. And thank you for the sub over there, Eddie, on the Twitch side. I didn't miss that, but thank you. That is a tier 1 for 2 months now. Much appreciated. Hitman 3 was awesome. Yeah, Hitman 3 was a good game. I didn't actually play it, I just watched a walkthrough. That's what I get to do now. I don't get to play games, I just get to watch people play them. That's, you know. I actually just started on PC about 5 years ago, so my collection is a bit smaller. But I used to play Xbox for years. You can still actually access, I think, some of your Xbox games through the Xbox app. Ben, not Ben. Ben. Gotcha. Build is looking great, thank you. Yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. Let me move my hand so you can see it. Yeah, it's looking real nice. I think the black accent on the back really kind of makes the white pop even more. I'm just trying to say that because I feel bad I didn't get a white motherboard and a white graphics card. But this is the last portion that we have to deal with here. We just got to get these plugged in, and then we are good to plug this up. Actually, I think change that to this. Not the big deal. Not the big deal. I thought I already organized this. My bad. What I can do here. It's tight. These cables are tough. I want to try to keep that up and away from the fan as much as I can. Gonna be like stuffing a Thanksgiving turkey, guys. Hot diggity dog. Extensions in a small build. A non-modular power supply is a terrible idea. I don't know whose idea this was. Oh, it was mine. No way, this was my idea. Absolutely no way this was my idea. Something definitely is coming unplugged on this cable management portion. Brought to you in part by Madness. Think twice before you put cable extensions in a micro ATX case. Power zip ties over here. I don't know where else to put that. Good. Das ist gut, yeah? Take it. I did. Was build 85, right? Joking. Still sucking for Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was always and always will be one of those games that you always have to play just because it existed back when you were a kid. At least for me, anyway. Nostalgic purposes. Always have to go back. Oh man, these stickies from Thermalright. Steve, I actually sign all of them. I don't always sign them on stream, though. Most of them should be signed. Time to blow a fuse, Ben. Alright, Maria. Build number 85, are you ready to tell us to push this power button? It's up to you now. It is now your task to tell me to push this power button. Oh yeah, the 5060 Ti is a great card. Love it. Love it. Let's see if it fires up. Like the case, what is it? I'll tell you in a second here, Chef. Wait for you to tell us to push that power button, Maria. Push it! There we go! Wonder if something got unplugged in the bottom. I think these bottom fans got unplugged, which is going to require me pulling the power supply out to get to those, but I'll deal with that. Bro. It's typical. I told you when I was stuffing those cables, something was going to get unplugged. I told you. I knew it was. So these bottom fans, the PWM connector got unplugged, so they're not spinning. And I know exactly where that is. On the back side, where I was stuffing those cables. Literally dying of excitement. Nice. Yeah, it's a pretty little box. Got a peel on this one. I can that make it look a little better. You can kind of see what the glass is going to look like. Nice and clear. Yeah, looks good. The top is also same fans. Those same fans all the way through. So I like the case. This is the Ruix, sorry, OV502. Ruix, R-U-I-X is the brand name, and it's an OV502. The micro ATX dual chamber. Yeah, definitely. These small dual chamber cases or builds always turn out looking just sharp, and I think it's because they're smaller and there's a lot packed in there. But the amount of fans that you could fit in this case is pretty nice. So for a small case, it can definitely handle a lot of TDP in here. So a lot of heat it can dissipate. Your typical dual chamber design. These are Thermalright fans that we used. I am going to probably off stream take care of this fan, so I'm not really too worried about that. I already know what happened. I was stuffing those cables, and I even told you guys something was going to get unplugged, and sure enough, something got unplugged. So that's why the bottom fans aren't spinning. I'll take care of that after the stream or tomorrow before we start benchmarking it. And yeah, what else? I think that's it, other than BIOS, Windows, drivers, benchmarking, and then shipping. So it'll probably go out, I would say you'll have tracking information Tuesday. I'm so excited for you. Awesome. Yeah, it's a beautiful build. Pretty. I do like the white and black. Kind of gives it a theme. It's pretty. Do we have a post? Yes, we are at the BIOS. Sorry. You can kind of see the BIOS on the monitor there. But we're in the BIOS. We're posted up. So we're good to go. Other than those fans. Stormtrooper vibe. Yeah, we could have done black and white on the cables. Would have looked cool too. It'll look really good on the desk. Oh yeah. You can even change the RGB from the software, from the MSI Center. We'll have Mystic Light. You'll be able to change the RGB from the Mystic Light. You could change it to a steady white if you wanted, and that would probably look really cool. Or cool blue, or like an ice blue color would look cool. I can't wait. I'll for sure post pictures of it in your Discord. I just joined. Nice. Welcome to the Discord channel. Welcome to the build show. Nice. Congrats. Congratulations. Yes. Now we just got to get it across the finish line, boxed up, and shipped. Going out the door. Then we'll build another one. And then another one. And then another one. Well, it's gonna be blue to match my blue desk. Nice. Blue desk. I don't think I've seen like a blue or rainbow. I don't think I've seen a blue desk in a while. Everybody likes the white or the black. Maybe I've seen a couple of red setups, but I haven't seen like a blue. I'd be definitely curious to see it. It's easy on the eyes, yeah. It's nice, cool, kind of mellow blue, yeah. I like it. Obviously, I keep mine at on a green color because of, you know, Empower's theme. I'm joking. Make sure we get pics, Maria. Yeah, definitely. Take some pics when you get it. Set up on the desk. Drop it in the Discord. Everybody here will love to see it. Set up and running. Appreciate you, brother. PC has been running phenomenal. That was an old chat I just read, because I do that. Discord. Bam! Oh, it'll give her many years of fun and more. Alright guys, so that is it for me tonight. We are just doing the one build. I'll take care of those fans probably tomorrow before we start benchmarking. We'll do windows and whatnot. It does look like we're going to have another build either Tuesday or Wednesday this week, and then we should have another build on Friday evening. So Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not sure which day it's going to land because we're still waiting on parts. They're supposed to be here either tomorrow or Tuesday. Don't know when they're actually showing up for the build, and Friday for sure is a build stream that we'll be doing. So, and I'll try to get the Friday stream started a little earlier, and same with Tuesday or Wednesday's stream. So just keep an eye out on the Discord channel. I'll probably post which day I'm gonna be streaming, or at least update you on Tuesday if I'm going to be streaming, or if I'm going to be streaming on Wednesday. So best place to communicate and get updates from me is on the Discord channel. So if you haven't already joined, feel free to join. Links in the chat from Some Giant Idiot. Thank you. And that'll be it for me tonight. Maria's build has been built. Finally, we're one step closer to getting this over to her so she can start enjoying it. And next, we'll have another cool build to build. Build to build, 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 build. That's it for me, guys. You can tell I'm done. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Happy building. Bye.